Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, to no one's real surprise, maybe some people, I did see some lawyers saying that the CDC would be foolish to do this, but I think there's bigger ramifications here than this one decision, and that's why they're appealing that decision in Florida. I've been saying all along that if the CDC loses, they were going to appeal. If Florida lost, they were going to appeal. And remember, this is an injunction. It's not the actual case. It's not the actual going in front of the court and debating back and forth the pros and the cons and everything. This was mediation first, and then the judge made a decision saying, yep, I'm going to grant the injunction temporary, for now. And then you guys can go to court and argue it afterwards. And if the CDC wins in court, then that injunction would disappear as well. However, they're going to appeal, and they have asked the court to put a stay on that injunction until the full court hearing, saying and possibly correctly, I'm not, I don't like to fight for the CDC or anything, but they say a decision of this importance should not be made rashly. It should be through a full hearing and full debates where both sides can present both arguments and bring in witnesses and bring in scientific facts and all of that sort of thing, not just decide it in a day or two and some mediation where they meet for a few hours a day. Let's go into what they said. First off, they said, the conditional sailing order is an important tool in ensuring that cruise ship operations do not exacerbate the spread of dangerous COVID-19 variants during this infectious point in the pandemic. Tuesday's motion for a stay said it does not shut down the cruise industry, but instead it provides a flexible framework for reopening based on the best available scientific evidence. Here, the undisputed evidence shows that unregulated cruise ship operators would exacerbate the spread of COVID-19 and that the harm has come to the public would result in such operations cannot be undone. If somebody passes away from getting COVID, you cannot undo that, right? Cruise ships are uniquely situated to spread COVID-19 due in part to their close quarters for passengers and crew for prolonged periods with stops at foreign ports and risk introducing new variants of COVID-19 in the United States. And so I think some of this might also be with what they're seeing that so much different protocols from the different cruise lines. Royal Caribbean is different than Celebrity. Carnival is different than Royal Caribbean. In fact, Carnival Cruise Line, when they opened up the buffet now, saying that you're just going to have a normal buffet, we're not going to serve it to you like the other cruise lines are doing. That caught a lot of people off guard. In fact, I think the majority of people out there, from what I'm seeing in the comments, actually like the fact that they were going to serve you the food. That would keep other people from being around your food and touching your food, not just because of COVID, but just in sanitary reasons altogether, right? You all know some of the stories that I've said on this channel about the horror stories in the buffet. So I was brought back by that. Not only that, Carnival just also announced another new protocol. They're going to let their crew members, off for shore excursions and foreign ports. They're allowed to get off the ship and mingle with everybody as well. Now, they are fully vaccinated. They're supposed to be fully vaccinated on their cruise ships. But again, that is just another indication that, how tight are these restrictions on these ships and how, what's the protocol completely going to be? Well, in response, we have to look at what the judge said. And the judge in the last decision, he said, with the advent of highly effective vaccines, with more than half of adults fully vaccinated, with infection plummeting and the death rate from COVID asymptomatically approaching zero, Actually, it's been pretty steady the last little while, unfortunately. With the benefit of effective therapeutics for COVID-19 with masks, safe distancing, and sanitation, and with the successful and safe reopening of business, including airlines, sporting events, and other high-capacity venues, COVID-19 no longer threatens the public health to the same extent at the start of the pandemic, or when the CDC issued the conditional sailing order, Mary Day wrote. But there is one thing that the CDC, the judge, and the Florida government do agree on, and that is that you should just hit the subscribe button. Just hit that subscribe button if you haven't already joined the channel. It really does help the channel out and helps YouTube know that people are watching the videos, and it shares it to more people. I would be most appreciative, and it, once again, just have to say, it doesn't cost anything. There's no charge, and no virus will be affected by hitting a subscribe button. So I do agree with a lot of this. The cases are way down. There are protocols in place, unfortunately, with masks and safe distancing. Although right now, if you are fully vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask on the cruise ship, but you're mixing with people who do have to wear a mask. And now there's a pull to the cruise lines or which cruise line you're going to go to based on their protocols on board. Let's face it, if I have a choice, I'm going to take the cruise line that doesn't have a mask. That's what I did. My first cruise, I'm going on the Edge. They don't have to wear a mask. I'm not going on the Royal Caribbean ship where I may have to wear a mask indoors. So that whole argument right there is also setting up a dynamic where cruise lines are maybe forced to not use some of those safety protocols to get the business. And is that the right call? Are we going to force Royal Caribbean to say no more masks because we have to compete with the other cruise lines who don't wear masks like Carnival? We want to be safer and do this, but economically we're losing business now. We can't do it. So we'll see what that argument brings out. Mary Day also went and said, in summary, Florida establishes a strong likelihood that many or most cruise ships will remain unable to sail for the entire summer season. Mary Day wrote, and each day the cruise industry faces uncertainty about when cruises can resume. Florida not only suffers from concrete economic injury resulting from reduced revenue and increased unemployment spending, but Florida faces an increasingly threat and imminent prospect that the cruise industry will depart the state of Florida. The dislocation of all or most of an entire industry subjects Florida to a protracted and permanent loss of revenue from one of Florida's largest industries, the benefit of which situated themselves into the heart of the Florida economy. In my mind, this is hyperbole. It's not, there's no way. There's no way they're going to leave the state of Florida if they don't have to leave the state of Florida. There are currently 29 ships getting ready to set sail in the state of Florida through either test cruising or fully vaccinated cruises over the next coming months. The fact that the cruise ships aren't all starting right now has nothing to do with the situation that's going on with the testing and all that. It has a lot to do with getting the ships ready to sail again, and getting the crew in place, and getting the training in place, and getting the cleaning up the ships and getting them ready to go. It's taking that amount of time. You can't just snap, you know what? We've been sitting for 16 months. Let's just throw everybody on the ship that's not ready for them so we can start right away. They're not going to do that. So in reality, no, this judge's decision here is predicting something that's unproven as far as they're going to lose the cruising industry. Nothing has shown that they're going to, right? In all honesty, we got 4 ships sailing now, and they're more on the way this month, and pretty soon we're going to have a ton of ships sailing out of North America. So I'm afraid that I don't agree with the judge's decision in that particular case. In response, the CDC to the lawsuit, and not the lawsuit, but in the response to the judge saying that they're losing revenue and the ships won't be able to sail and they're being held back. Well, they respond to that in this appeal, saying at the time of emerging COVID variants of concern, the court Mary Day's order creates a substantial risk that cruise ships will exacerbate the introduction and spread of viruses in the United States. The motion said, the evidence in record shows that the risk imposed by the court's order are not comparable to those on shore facilities like hotels and other places where people gather or travel for brief periods of time. And this court's suggestion that the availability of vaccines alone suffices to mitigate the risk is both undermined by Florida law prohibiting cruise ships from actually asking if they've been vaccinated and showing proof of vaccine. So they're kind of throwing this back in the judge and back in Florida DeSantis' face, saying, you're saying that we're holding them back, but and that they, you know, vaccines are the answer, and that's showing that it's saving everything. And then you're also saying that, yeah, but you can't ask if they've been vaccinated or not. So we can't tell if the cruise is as safe as it possibly can be from the spread of COVID and the variants. And so they're kind of throwing that back in the face a little bit there. And they also say that, you know, they're talking about that a lot of cruise ships have been approved to set sail already, right? So I don't know where a lot of this is going to end up, but they are asking for an immediate stay of that injunction until it's a full court hearing. And who knows? The way the courts go nowadays, I have no idea what's going to happen in this situation. But in all honesty, I don't really think it's going to affect us as cruisers, because we're cruising and more ships are starting every day. Alaska is about to start sailing near the end of this month. We have, you know, the Mardi Gras sailing at the end of this month. We have the Odyssey of the Seas sailing at the end of this month. Princess is scheduled up for the fall. We have Holland America scheduled for the fall. MSC has 7 cruises going now. We have about to be 3 celebrity cruises running out of Florida shortly. It's just, it doesn't seem like anything that happens in this court injunction is going to benefit us as in particular as cruisers, other than maybe some cruise lines are just going to throw away some of those restrictions like masks, etc. going forward. But I don't know if they will do that, because even if this injunction goes through, even if they say, nope, you can't, the framework is gone, goodbye on the 18th of this month, if there's an outbreak on the ship, the CDC still has control of that ship. The judge does not, Florida does not, the CDC does. And the CDC could make a very big point saying, well, you know what, you're at your threshold now. Stop that cruise and evacuate everybody now. And that's when we'll hit headlines again. So I don't know if the cruise lines are willing to do that. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if they put a stay on this injunction, or if or if it even matters. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.